Hi, you're here. Thank you for clicking the link and learning more about me and this course, and for your willingness to try and understand more about what this is about and what I have to offer. So, yes, thank you for being here. My name is Kate Gegg. I am a LCSW, which means I have a master's in social work and a license through the state of Illinois to provide social work services, which includes therapy, counseling, psychotherapy uh, to individuals living in Illinois. So, I want to tell you a little bit more about me and how this course came to be. I'm not going to overload you with information, but the short of it is that I finished graduate school in 2010. And naturally, as one would expect, I learned a lot in graduate school. And I learned things that I felt were incredibly valuable and helpful for me to know, both as an aspiring clinician, but also as a person who has received therapy on and off throughout her life. And I found my own therapy deepened and my own capacity to do therapeutic work deepened. And my successes, and my ability to make the kinds of changes I wanted to make in my life heightened after graduate school, knowing the things that I knew and was trained in becoming a therapist. And so, since that happened, I have pondered with this question about how do we fill the gap between getting a master's degree, which requires, postgraduate education on top of college. How do we fill the gap between graduate level knowledge and experience and what your average everyday human knows, regardless of their education level, about themselves and how their brains work and how their emotions work and how to have successful relationships? How do we fill that gap? So, in 2020, so that would have been 10 years after I finished graduate school, I started a blog and I wrote on Instagram trying to narrow that gap, and on my website, trying to narrow the gap between what a therapist knows and what any of us may learn in pop psychology. And I've gained a following through that. And I've continued to have this interest in trying to disseminate some of what we therapists know to the general public. And so, after getting some feedback from consumers of the blog that they wanted more than blog posts, I had this idea that I could make a series of instructional skill-based training videos to make available to anyone that was interested in more than what was available on the blog or on the Instagram account. So if you want to check out the Instagram account, it's Coping with Kate. You can also access all of the prior writing on my website, kategegg.com or copingwithkate.com. It'll take you to the same place. So, who am I? I finished graduate school in 2010. I received my master's degree from the University of Chicago. And after graduating, I spent a handful of years working in community mental health, which is mental health centers that primarily serve individuals that are on Medicaid, which in the United States is a government health insurance that's given out through the government. And so those individuals either have disabilities or they're low income or they have qualified. Um, you have to qualify for Medicaid through a variety of need-based channels. I worked in community mental health for a number of years. I transitioned into a group practice, and then from there, I transitioned out on my own in private practice. I did a gradual ramp up. It would have been in 2014 that I started out on my own. And I've been on my own ever since. So it's just me in private practice. I see clients every day of the week, and then I fit this writing in on the side. So that's the motivation for the course. If you'd like to learn more about me, you can do so at my website. You can read more about my work history. There's links there as well. But that's just some brief information about who I am and how we got here.